Okay, so this is what are we today? We are March 8th, 2023. It's just turned 1:46 here. We're going to look at the tech detail look ahead. So this is oil. This is the balance of what's been going on. TPO charts. Um, all right. So really, yesterday we had a pretty good analysis that we had been balanced above here, balanced above and trying to get into up here. And then when we came into the open yesterday here, we just let us blocks. We had a little open imbalance below the 80 spot 30s, testing the C-val, no chance, rejected down. This period here was held by the C-val, little pop to here, and then slipped down below imbalance below 78.40s. So I had sort of thought that potentially yesterday we should be looking for longs and based upon here, like maybe we would need to check the balance here. I actually thought we wouldn't need to do that, and we'd just hold 78.40s and then continue. But with Powell coming through yesterday, this was the half three marker, when we breached below. Um, sorry, it was actually a 4 o'clock marker when we breached below here and went the imbalance down. So still haven't. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 period. Wow, seven very poor high here on the European session so far. Um, but yeah, look, 76.28. I think we're going to have to look at that. 76.28 for longs. That's also for me, WP val. Um, and actually, look at that one little block off. 76.30s, we'll call that one. I like the longs there. Um, so let's see what we can get. But if these equities markets start to really tank at some point, it is going to drag equities down with it. Okay, so this is the balance, right? So let's then get into something a little more visceral on oil, and I can pull up the daily. Might show us something here. Yeah, all right. Bit of this going on here. All right, here's oil on the daily bars. So we see we just kind of came down off of that Q plus one, reject down across VWAP on the Q yesterday. No such supports coming in. 77.10s for my Q P val here. So what can we take away from this chart? Well, the 77.10s is giving it up right now. It was a low yesterday. Could be looking for 76s on the downside, but I think even if that does happen, I think we're going to need to go to 75.60s, 75.60s Q minus one, and it's going to be hard to see further selling come down below there, to be honest. I think we've broken out on this sort of downtrend for the past 3 quarters, well, 3.5 quarters here since summer last year, downtrending. I think, like with equities, we've had the breakout on these downtrends. So pulling back, testing on these trends, I think this market is still bullish to then, pick up its stocks from here and go. What's uber bearish is that um, we test on the Q minus one, and then through the rest of the week we actually trade below Q minus one, 75.60s currently. And so further trade below essentially the trend here is super bearish. If we close a couple of days throughout the rest of this week below here, say, I think this is going to happen. And then we're back to $70. White House is the buyer, and up we go. So that's the daily, right? Not too much to take from that in terms of trade locations. 76 handle, obviously an historical. Well, actually, I'll show you that there. If we do this, and there we go. So 76 is really, it's a nice little low there last or 4 days ago, last last week I think that was, yeah. All right, so that's all there is from the daily. And then we get into right inside the onion here, and we look at the 30-minute bar and see what's going on. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So, yesterday, the guidance, I must have deleted it. Okay. So, tidy this up. tidy this up here. Okay, so the 76 30s here with the WP val 7622s. I like this area for the market to hold up. You got that 76 handle just below. There actually is a bit of size here. You can see faint, very small, or very light green. I need to fix that, but there is quite a bit of size here on the 7608s to trade. So that may be enticing enough to just blip on the 76s and then let's see what happens there. But I like what might happen here on the 7630s. Wouldn't be against going late on this when the market kind of sorts out what's happening in around this area. Then look for the longs to get back up. And I think we are still grossly imbalanced up on on this area, like you saw here. Buying come in when we came down there last Friday. Mega buying up there. What 76 is say up to 79.80. So wow, yeah, nice. Um, so we're coming back to that area, and it's now conveniently WP val. Right. So I like their shorts. Shorts. I don't really like working shorts here today.
DXY VWAP.
I think the shorts are gone, obviously, off of the P val, So if we come back on P val, yeah, okay, all right, all right, all right. P val shorts. Um, might not even get that. We might actually just look to VWAP here. So trail the VWAP on the shorts. But I'll leave this on here because the VWAP will be moving. So, but if we trade 7630s first before we trade VWAP, I will not take a short on VWAP. Simples. Okay, let's move over to the S&P 500. The S&P 500, here we go on the daily chart. So, yesterday we came off of that 4060s on the top of that channel. We're back in the channel here. Low of day. I noted this in the room at the time was the Q minus 139.82 67s or thereabouts. I can't remember what I said. But certainly not an area to swing for the longs at the time. I mean, you just would have had to sit through the APAC session and hey, you're on side by like you know, two packets of crisps and a Fanta here. That's about all you're getting out of that trade right now. So, do I like the longs? No, I don't, because this is as we go over to the other chart now. We'll look at this. I'll show you why I don't like the longs. And I really don't care if this thing goes 100 points up. I just don't like the longs from here. So, oh, yeah, there we there's a balance there as well before we get onto the 30 minute the balance here, right? So this is the balance, a little bit up there. Right. So yeah, look what happened yesterday, right? Look what happened yesterday. Look at this. Look at that. We opened here. Opening range, kind of tight. Then bammo, Powell delivers his comments and a speech. Down we go, reversing this entire area to the downside. And now we're just bouncing around on the lows here. This market is IB below the P-val here. Okay, this little spot, the P-val. This is the European session. So yeah, look, destination 3971s and then some, I think. These are all off by like a tick or two. Pixel or two. Yeah, so 3971's quarter to trade today. I'm looking at that for 85% probability on the spoos, especially how we sit high here. Okay, so keep that in your mind. If we rally, I think shorts around 40.25. So let's do that. Let's do that. And let's do here as a destination. Destination will be in gray. And let's see balance. Oh yeah, look at this whole demand area I forgot about here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. 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 That puts a bit of a different flavor on this. Well, actually, it helps me answer what might happen down the bottom here. Yeah, so I think we can move down here 39.67s. And then I really don't know. I really don't know. But I think short. So we're gonna like let the VIX tell us what's happening when we get down here. You know, see a relatively subdued but positive VIX at this point. I would be careful that we could see a VIX then get stronger at this point and move down on equities. If we have a super strong VIX when we push down here, I would probably be likely to fade this move and get long around this 71, 70, 971s to 967s area. But for me, I like the shorts up here. I like probably neutral for here for now. And then let's get over to the 30 minutes to have a look inside of what has been happening here. Okay, so here we have the monthly and the quarterly. Now I drew this on this morning. I think I drew that on this morning. That one. Oh yeah, the overlays aren't there. Yeah, okay. So yeah, what just looking at it this morning, how it's trading, right? We had that condition shift on Q, or sorry, the monthly here. All right, the monthly is in blue, this darker blue, right, and the value area is in this light blue.
Gold
Okay,
VWAP.
so we shifted down on the month, and we're holding below. Bid here this earlier, at 11, sold down off of the well, okay, we're really, this does not look like the buyers are ready to push this back up. We are holding IB down. Average price IB is below. Getting held by the Q minus a half here. This is that low we're talking about. See this line? Okay, half deviation down on the Q. So I think if we pop from here, I think, listen, you've got selling that came in across that MP val yesterday. Look at this here into VWAP excess above, bang, down it goes into new lows, into the Q half down. Um, I think if it pops again to this area, like the QPVAH, well, and the MP val, I just don't see it surviving. I just really don't. The question is going to be is it going to QPVAH um, or is it just going to be done? Oh, sorry, is it going to QPVAH and it's going to roll over then? Or is it even going to get back inside a P-val here? So if we come into the open and we're trading here, I think we're going down. Okay, I think we're going down, down, down. Right, and how far? Right, let's look at the balance. Okay, well, here's our big green area. Okay, so I was looking at this. I know this is kind of tough and layered to look at, guys, but um, I'm gonna now really get into this. Okay, so oil just opening here on its lows. Um, so let's see. I think if this market has any spirit in it,
DXY value.
I'd actually like to be seller up here because I think if the market got up there, that would be like so grossly overbought. Now, I actually don't see that happening. I think shorts. I know it's a big area, but like, don't really have any interesting spots in here. But yeah, I'll just kick the touch and go for, well, it's holding M down. So you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And what we talked about yesterday, being in the spirit of these markets getting, not having any fight in them for the sellers. Yesterday, we were looking at basically we can go off from pretty close to where we trade. while we're doing these analyses. So I like shorts on the P val. There you go, down. That's number one. Sorry, this is number two. This is number one area for me. Huge probability trade there. I would put 95% probability of a major run back down if we get up there. On SPOOs. Targets to the downside. Well, you got to contend with the bottom of this big green area here, which is going to be, there will be buyers there. And, the market may take quite a long time to realize that it has to head off even further south here. So let's just make that super easy to look at. Yeah. So I think destinations down here on the Q -1. I don't think that market's going to drop much further than that if we don't have a change in the macro. Okay, so that's booze. Let me layer that on here. So 40, 41s, 40, 41s. This is up here. That's area one. And where we are right now is, area number two is here. And then running it down to 39.37s, oil new lows, heading for the 76.28 down here, I think it is. And then Q minus 39.37, 39,
Dow VWAP.
39. All right, there it is, 39.37. Yeah, boom. Okay. Dow. Now, pretty interesting in the Dow because we're below this demand area. So let's get into it here. Where's my daily go? Okay. Yeah, let's look at the balance first. So here we go on the Dow. Similar to the SPOOs yesterday, opened here and then just bounced right back down through this demand area. Now this is, you know what? I'll make this. Uh, okay, yeah. Well, this. Okay, I'm gonna actually make this a different color, right? But just okay. So let's just, yeah. All right. This has been a buying area. This has been a selling area that we've identified for the past, I don't know, month or at least now, right? So um So sorry, just checking on the bond action here. So yeah, look, we went in balanced down and balanced right on top here, 32,831s yesterday, CVAH. All right.
Gold.
Nice destination. And putting in a poor low there to then come back up and close just to shave off of that. All right. But the balance is above here now this morning in the European session. So it is likely to probably come for 33,070s on a bounce. And then let's see if it flops over at that point. So really, I'm looking at shorts 33,070s. And if they don't work, I'm probably going to let it go, actually, and let it run back up higher. And then, maybe tomorrow we could then look at, well, staying clear of everything ahead of NFP, number one. But we could probably have more information about what's going to happen on this area, which is technically the buying area of what we've had, well, since December, late December. All right. And it is quite telling we're now, putting in trade below here, can't hold above this buying area. We get smacked down yesterday, just looking at this on a pure play technical level. So this would be like a day one pullback short here. I'd be really surprised if it gets up to here, because then we're going to have to contend with this range again for quite a while. And yeah. So look, that's just a nice way to look at context and talk about context for a minute on the Dow. um, Daily bar is quite important as well here. Daily bar is quite important. So we're trading now below the minus 1.5. It's quite imbalanced here. Okay, so well, it's very imbalanced. Below essentially this demand area, which is not the CVA that I just turned red. Okay, so we basically kind of lost demand here for now. Let's see if we can get back in. But right now, we're rejecting that minus 1.5. Okay, so that's all we can really take off of that. Before we go, let's kind of just have a yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard not to see a little bit of retracement come in here. Really, it is. It is. It's going to be hard not to do that. Um, you know, yeah, these are the major balance areas, right? So, yeah, we could probably just come back in here 33070s for the shorts, and then we look for the imbalance to continue down. Okay. um would have preferred if this actually had contact with QVWAP up here. feeling it kind of feels like it has a huge potential to just drift back in, hit here, and then kind of do this over the course of the next 2 weeks until we get FOMC. But let's go with the imbalance. Let's go with the shorts from here. 33070s. Okay, that's the daily. Let's look at that. Look at the 30. Okay. First of all, let's take off the balance. Okay, so we're back down trading within the weekly PVAL. It would be sort of nice and clean if we were to test WPVAH and then reject. We are holding within prior day's balance area low, but this is a very sort of dead cat sort of situation here where we're not seeing the bounce. Here's your Q minus 1.5 here as well. See that just wholly pretty much containing all of APAC and all of European trade, right? Interesting that when we put a new high in against this, we then put in a new low against the Q level. So a little bit of size here, 32,960s. Let's look at the balance. So I'm looking for shorts. Pretty prescriptive here. Confident with WPVAH. It's like 70s to 90s, 70 to 90s short. Okay. 70 to 90s short. And longs. Uh, Here, PVAL. PVAL and the CVAH. So that's kind of like 833s to 840s. Nice little 7 tick area there. Now, you might think, well, hold on, that's different to the SPOOs, like, but ultimately, you got to trade these things individually. Um, I have been looking at selling weekly VWAP here on DAX. I got blown out with my add-ins. Unfortunately, it just went too far above WVWAP. So, um, yeah, I'm not getting stubborn when I'm going to wait for jolts actually and Jerome with jolts really. So yeah, that's really all I've got on Dow here today. So that's 70s to 90s short and 40s to, or what is it, 33s to 40s long eval. Any questions on any of this? Based on my overnight analysis. Pretty much, yeah. Holding value here, yeah. Yeah, yeah. On the spoos, it's below. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and they could. No, they might not go in the same direction because over high volatile events. And sorry for the recording that this Ian's audio is not recorded here, but we'll get that fixed for the next recording. Um, they might not because the value and the makeup of the Dow companies is more that you have more large dividend paying companies there, right? And these are like the top 30 companies in the US, which puts them as kind of the top 30 companies in the world in a way, right? So therefore, under serious downward pressure scenarios, you're looking at like, basically it's like the end of the world. You and one woman are going to repopulate the world. Who do you want to pick? Do you want to pick Claudia Schiffer or do you want to pick Josephine Smith, you know, to repopulate the world with? And by the way, Josephine Smith has really bad credit history. She's a bit of a mess. She's a bit of a drinker. Uh, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like under these scenarios, the Dow tends to not really sell down as much as the SPOOs or the Nasdaq. So you could see divergence. You could see SPOOs drop like 0.5%, and the Dow might only drop like 0.2 or even 0.15. You know, hopefully that makes sense. Well, yeah. So here's another clarity on that. The VIX is actually strictly um, a derivative of the S&P 500, not the Dow. There is a separate Dow VIX, which is not as heavily traded. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So scroll through your product catalog in Sierra, and you should be able to find a Dow VIX. I might have a scan for it myself, but we're only gonna. There's really only most of the world really only trades the VIX, which is based on S&P 500. So yeah, um, cool. Okay, brilliant, 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 brilliant. Tune in tomorrow for more crap analogies with Tim Duggan.